Your data is like gold to hackers. They'll sell it to the highest bidder. Are you protected? McAfee helps shield you, blocking suspicious texts, malicious emails, and fraudulent websites. McAfee Secure VPN lets you browse safely, and its AI-powered text scam detector spots threats instantly. You'll also get up to $2 million of award-winning antivirus and identity theft protection, all for just $39.99 for your first year. Visit McAfee.com. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this year, we're going to go drink at a bar. But not just any bar. We're going to drink at a bar for pilots.
Ooh. But then we're going to get on the plane, and then we're not going to want to fly.
I don't know, man. Those flyboys crack me up.
I tell you, I'm not a pilot.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I don't think I've ever been kicked out of a bar. I mean, I've been welcomed in bars, but I've never been kicked out of a bar.
I don't think I've ever been kicked out of a bar. I mean, my college bar, sometimes we would stay past bar close because we were pretty good friends with the manager of the bar. So sometimes we would just help him clean up. But yeah, I almost got kicked out of a bar once, but that was just a misunderstanding.
Was it because you were trying to prank them?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. All right, guys. So this week we're going to be talking Season 6, Episode 11, Fear of Flying. And I think we're almost about halfway through Season 6 already.
Yes, we are.
We're pretty damn close.
And this is the last episode of 1994.
Yeah. So this aired December 18th, 1994. So no Christmas episode this year.
Nope.
We haven't got a Christmas episode, I think, since Santa's Little Helper. Am I correct?
I believe you are correct.
Yeah. I feel like The Simpsons should have done more Simpson episodes. Kind of like Halloween. Although the ideas for Halloween are more free-flowing. Like, you could come up with a lot more ideas. Whereas Christmas, how many Christmas episodes can you really do?
Well, so far I think they've done like 20 or something. 25?
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So, recap this week. Homer receives free airline tickets and discovers Marge is afraid to fly. So she goes to therapy.
And we're going to talk about this because
I do. So was Dr. Marvin Monroe's character dead now?
Yes.
At this point?
I believe so.
Okay. Because that was the story. I was like, why didn't we get Dr. Marvin Monroe? Unless obviously they wanted to try something different. But I mean, Dr. Marvin Monroe was like the Springfield therapist. So
yeah,
I was kind of hoping to see him again. But if he was already gone at this point,
yeah,
then that's.
But there's there's one episode for sure that Marge flew. And I believe there's probably a second episode, but we'll talk about that.
Right now, Marge last flew without incident, mind you, in Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington.
Correct. Now, I don't remember the episode, but when they go to visit Uncle Herb, did they drive or did they fly?
I think they drove, because I think I remember they pulled up in the Homer's pink car.
Okay. I couldn't remember if they drove or not in that one. So that's, Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, I believe, is the only episode where they have flown so far. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's, well, I wanted to mention that later. Thank you. But I guess that's okay. Yeah. We'll kind of get into this in a little bit. Yeah. So, first off, we got the long intro this week.
It was a shorter episode.
I was like, can I just fast forward through this? I'm like, God, I'm used to the episode just starting. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but this is one of the very few episodes where they actually have the long intro in like the later seasons.
Yeah, so I did watch the whole intro because I kind of wanted to see if there was anything different, anything new, and no, nothing new for the long intro between the season 1 and now. So nothing quite new yet.
I think the only difference is the animation, I think, was a little bit better.
Yeah. But fun fact, Marge is still driving her sedan when she tries to run into Homer in the garage.
Interesting.
So no station wagon yet. And we're in
Okay.
season 6. So come on, Simpson animators, let's update your intros. So the chalkboard gag this week: Ralph won't quote unquote morph if you squeeze him hard enough. Like Power Rangers.
That's
morph?
what my first thought was.
But the
Like
Power
what?
Rangers
What?
didn't
What can you
it.
squeeze? Yeah. What can you squeeze that morphs? I mean, there's Play-Doh.
Play-Doh, silly putty. That's about it. But I mean, okay, Ralph is pretty pudgy, so maybe Bart was trying to like morph him into a skinny guy.
I don't know.
I don't know what Bart was doing this week.
When did that first Power Ranger movie come out? That was like 98, wasn't it?
I don't know, but Power Rangers were out, I think, 94-ish. But I don't know what he would. I mean, you don't squeeze anything to more. I mean,
No.
that wouldn't have had anything to do with it, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I don't understand what Bart was trying to morph Ralph into, or how he was going to get him to morph.
No, I don't know.
God, Bart, what were you doing? Tell me.
We'll never know.
Yep. So the couch gag this week, we got the circus line couch gag again.
How many times?
Now the 6th time they've used this couch gag.
God.
I mean, it is very popular.
It is. Well, they also needed to stretch out the intro.
Because lot. It's a short... I mean, holy shit.
I looked. The intro was with the TV was about 1.5 minutes.
I mean, honestly, this has to be with the full intro and the couch gag. This had to have been one of the shortest Simpson episodes on TV.
While.
Or in a while. I mean,
in a while at least. Yeah. This was probably a much. I mean, we'll get into it. The back half of the episode seems to go by really quickly.
Yeah. I think front to back. I mean, it was pretty like beginning story, end of the story. Yeah. Pretty 50-50, I think.
Yeah. So we start this episode out at Moe's, where we see Lenny, Carl, and Homer drinking. And Lenny asks Moe for if he can change a $5, which is pretty standard if you go to a bar because you want change for tips.
Yep.
And although I can't imagine anybody at that bar tipping Moe. And so, Moe opens the cash register to change the $5, and I'm assuming it was a cobra popped out and bit Moe over and over again. So Moe's gonna die, or did they get a venomous cobra?
Well, either they got a venomous cobra, or I think in the future we learned that Moe was a snake handler of some kind.
Okay.
Like that's his religion. Like he's one of those Southern Belle snake handlers.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though. Like he gets bit and then he just shoves the drawer back closed with the snake still inside.
Yeah, he did like chuck the snake out. Just like he's like, oh my god, shove the snake back in, so that way the next time I open the register, I get bitten again.
Yeah,
it was so much fun the first time.
And so, and then Barney's also there. I forgot to mention that. Barney asks Moe if he wants to smell the flour on his jacket. So he's got a little pin flour. Honestly, I forgot the gag because I haven't seen this episode in a while. Obviously, the flour gag is you squirt him with water.
Yep.
Barney went the opposite direction and lit Moe on fire with a lighter.
Yeah, he was like, oh man, you got me with my alcohol-soaked apron.
Well, I mean, when you bartend long enough, you wear the same clothes long enough, and you don't wash them,
you become flammable.
Yeah. I mean, you're still kind of flammable without all that, but, and so Moe decides that he needs coffee because now he's, like, worn out from all the pranks, and he asks Homer to pass him the sugar, and so Homer unscrews the top. Bart pulled the same prank against a Millhouse in an episode as well, with salt.
Yeah.
And so, Homer passes the sugar to Moe, and Moe dumps all the sugar out, and everybody's angry and upset, and Moe bans Homer from the bar for life.
Yeah,
which is obviously not true because eventually we see him at Moe's
back. I don't know. Did he go back the next episode? Well,
I
don't remember
think
if he went
so.
back next episode. I think he did.
I think he did. But so my question is, do you have a prank that you've ever pulled that was really good that you like to tell the story?
No, I wasn't a big prankster. I mean, I did the whole unscrew the salt bit at a restaurant, mind you, not in like someone's house. Yeah, I'm not a really big prank guy, so I guess I really haven't pulled anything.
Me neither. But the funniest prank that I was actually a part of, I have a friend from college who convinced another mutual friend of ours that he was from Canada. And we all joined in on it. And so anytime she would ask, oh, is he from Canada? And we're like, yeah, he's from Canada. You didn't know he's Canadian? We had her going for like 6 months.
Yeah.
I was like, and then when she found out, she was pissed. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And so, Homer tells Mo that the bar is like a tavern to him.
But no, this bar is like a tavern to me.
Okay. And Mo obviously doesn't care. And he's like, I'm taking your caricature down from Mount Lushmore. And I'm pulling your favorite song out of the jukebox. It's raining men? Yeah. Not no more, it ain't. So Homer's favorite song is apparently It's Raining Men. It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song. I mean, I love how he just chucks. Okay,
He just chucks it out the. Oh yeah, so he takes
it out
the
the
vinyl.
window? Was it out the window?
Yeah, he chucks it out the window and straight into Smithers' car.
Yep. Now here's the funny thing. I mean, records are pretty hard to throw evenly, mind you. Like they are. I mean, they'll wobble and go, but I don't like that. I can't tell if it went through Smithers' like passenger side window.
Yep.
Or I thought it went right through his windshield. Like,
No, it went through his window.
Does Smithers' car just not have a windshield?
No, it went through the passenger side window.
Okay.
And then Smithers looks at it and goes, "Ooh, it's raining men." So apparently Homer and Smithers share the same taste in music.
Well, we all know why Smithers said he liked it.
And so I love how Mo literally throws Homer out of the bar.
Yep.
And Homer laughs and he's like, haha, the joke is on them. I'm still alive.
Yep. So one thing I just wanted to mention, Homer's caricature on Mount Lushmore is reminiscent of a classic cover of the New Yorker magazine.
Ah.
And they were all up on Mount Lushmore. Lenny, Barney, Carl.
The one guy.
Yeah. I don't know if Jojo, McJojo, Joe guy was up there.
Yeah. So now Homer goes home and Bart tells him to cheer up and Homer's like, I can't. And Marge is like, well, what if you pretended that this couch were a bar? Then you could spend more nights at home with us, huh? Homer's like, I'm not going to dignify that with an answer. And Lisa's like, look on the bright side, Dad. Did you know that the Chinese use the same word for crisis as they do for opportunity? Yes. Christitunity.
Christitunity. I got to use that more often.
Oh my God. This is a Christitunity.
Yep.
I should have used that last night when at work because there was a crisis and it was an opportunity to use that word.
Nice.
And so Homer asks Bart where his wallet is. He's like, boy, where's my wallet? And Bart pulls Homer's wallet out of his own pants.
Yep. Here it is.
And Homer's like, I've been wasting my life away at that dump for years. That's it. I'm going to find a new bar to drink in. And I'm going to get drunker than I've ever been in my entire life. God, that's a goal.
Yep.
That is a goal.
Homer went on a really nice bar crawl.
Yeah. So the first bar he goes to is a very super fancy, lush, I would say a restaurant, not even a bar.
Yeah, it was probably one of the fanciest shindigs in Springfield. I don't know, Springfield Country Club? I don't know.
Yeah. And so I love how the maitre d' is like, sir, I'm going to ask you to leave without making a fuss. And Homer's like, okay.
That was good. I like that. That was fantastic. I like how that's the first bar he. I like that's how that's the first bar he chose.
I know. Well, and I love the fact that like every bar kind of gets like a step down in like seediness almost.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the next bar he goes to, somehow he made his way to Boston, Massachusetts, because he made his way to the Cheers bar.
Well, it's Cheers like bar. I don't know if they were allowed.
No, because all the voice actors were the original actors for those characters. Except for Frasier, because he stays silent.
Yeah, so although Kelsey Grammer has guest starred numerous times as the voice of Sideshow Bob, but during the Cheers scene, Grammer's character does not speak.
Maybe they didn't want to confuse their audience.
Why does Kelsey Grammer sound like Sideshow Bob?
Exactly. And so we get the Norm type going, Woody, give me a beer. And Woody goes, I think you've had enough, Mr. Peterson. My chiropractor says I can't carry you home anymore. Norm, just give me another beer, you brain dead hick. I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you. And he like breaks a beer bottle.
Okay, now I never watched much of Cheers. Like I'll caught it every once in a while when it was on or when our dad was watching reruns. Never got into Cheers.
No.
I thought Norm was a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like the chill type in the show. Maybe it was a belligerent
junk. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a joke because Norm is always calm and collected in the show, I think.
Yeah.
And so, and then they're like, they tell Norm to calm down because he's going to need his energy for karaoke, which gets Homer to scream and run away. And then like when he leaves, they play kind of the Cheers theme song a little bit.
Yeah, my guess is just couldn't get the rights to it.
Probably. So the next bar Homer
although they did do the didn't they do the parody Cheers?
They did, but that's a parody.
Yeah, but what was that? Have we done that yet, or is that later? That was Flaming Moe's. That was Flaming Moe's. Yep.
Yeah, that's a parody song. Therefore, it's protected under the law under fair use.
Yep.
So then the next bar Homer goes to is the Shishi Lounge, and Homer goes in. He looks around and he goes, "Wait a minute. There's something bothering me about this place. I know. This lesbian bar doesn't have a fire exit. Enjoy your death trap, ladies." And a random woman goes, "What was her problem?" I don't think you can mistake Homer for a woman.
Well, I don't know. Don't judge women how they look.
I would assume that if a woman was bald, they would possibly wear a wig. I know there are obviously women out there with alopecia, and they're like, screw it, I'm just gonna stay bald.
Well, yeah.
So that's fair, but I feel like Homer wouldn't be mistaken as a woman. No, I do like the progressiveness, though, of the scene, showing Homer going, I don't care if it's a lesbian bar, they have alcohol.
Yep. No. Well, when he says, something's bothering about this place, I thought he was like, wait a minute, I'm in a lesbian bar.
Yeah, but Homer's married.
Lesbian.
Yeah, but Homer's married, so why would he care?
Yeah. No, that was great.
It's funny because when I was living in Madison, and my friends were visiting, they're like, "Hey, Rob, we need to use a restroom." I'm like, "Okay." And we walked into the first bar that I saw, and it just happened to be a gay bar. I didn't even look around. I just needed to go to the bathroom, and my friend's like, "Rob, you just took us into a gay bar." And I'm like, "And? Who cares? I had to go pee. Like, get over it." And Homer. I love Homer. Homer's great.
Yeah. No, it was good. And I think that bar needs to be shut down if it doesn't have a fire exit.
Exactly. Well, that place seemed really crowded.
It did, yeah. So now we get a man who looks suspiciously like Homer entering Moe's bar, and he has a mustache. He's wearing a suit, top hat, looks all fancy like. And he's like, "Greetings, good man. Might I trouble you for a drink?"
By the way, he does introduce himself as Guy Incognito.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a great name. Yeah. I love it. And Moe's like, "Oh, get out of here, Homer." "Homer? Who is this Homer? My name is Guy Incognito." I didn't want to ruin it. You ruined it. Stop ruining things.
I'm a Homer.
And-
I gotta ruin things.
Yeah, and Mo gets rough up with Guy and throws him out. Just as Homer walks by, and Homer's like, "Oh my God, this man is my exact double. That dog's got a puffy tail. Here, Puff. Here, Puff.
So, by the way, Guy Incognito also is in the Simpsons movie.
Is he? I haven't seen that movie in a very long time.
Yeah, he's in the movie.
Oh, that was great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that everyone thought Homer dressed up, to drink at the bar. Because that's one of those things you get kicked out of the bar. You want to,
Oh, yeah?
dress up and see if you could fool the bartender.
I've never done that before.
And you've never used a fake ID before, right? You never went down that road.
No, never needed a fake because I never really needed to go into a bar when I was under 21.
No,
I was a good boy and wait until I was 21 to go into a bar.
I mean, I went into a lot of bars. Didn't drink, but I went into a lot of bars.
I mean, okay, to be fair, yes, I did go into a few bars, but they were more restaurant establishments than they were bars. So I could get in before, I think it was like 8 o'clock to eat. And if I was already in, they wouldn't kick me out. But
yeah, I love the fact that our arcade bar is 21 plus after like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something.
Oh, the arcade bars here in Wisconsin. So the two that are the one, it's the same company. So there's one in Appleton, one in Green Bay. It's 21 plus. They only allow kids in on the first Saturday of the month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do
That
a
kinda
kids.
They do a
Kid. They do a kids day every Saturday. The first month of every Saturday.
I mean, I think it's nice to allow kids in to get them into those games, to get them, I as a parent and loving those games, I'd love to bring my kid to but that kind of sucks that it's limited to like that.
It's weird. I wouldn't do it, but I don't run the business.
Yep. And so now Homer goes to the last bar in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
He hit them all. Hit every single. They didn't even do that classic, black scene walking down the street with the bar signs.
Oh yeah,
I was kind of surprised.
That's because they took all that time to do the intro.
I know, right? See, guys, you could have done the couple classic things. Although they've done that in a few episodes so far, so maybe they thought it was overused.
Yeah, they've only done it like 2 times.
Yep. And so Homer's like, the last bar in Springfield. If they don't let me in here, I'm going to have to quit drinking. And Homer's liver's like, yay! And Homer's like, shut up, liver. And he punches himself in the liver and doubles over in pain. Like, ow, my liver hurts.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. I love that. Because it's like, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, if you drink, I mean, we lived in Wisconsin. Well, I mean, I've lived in Wisconsin majority of my life, but growing up in Wisconsin, I mean, so many people drink that the joke is, if you try to drink water, your liver is going to reject it.
Really? Beer's like 90% water.
No, that you're thinking of Bud products.
No. Dude, I made beer. Like, beer is literally 90% water.
Yeah, but there's alcohol in it, so it's still going to ruin your liver.
Yes, absolutely. So inside the airport bar, the bartender's like,
Are you not going to name the airport bar?
Oh, I didn't? Did I say
no.
He was Oh, I didn't. So he's going into the Little Black Box. Which is a clever name for an airport bar.
Yeah, that's a great name.
I'll say that. So in the Little Black Box, Homer, the bartender's like, sorry, you got to be a pilot to drink in here. And Homer's like, but I am a pilot. Where's your uniform? I stowed it safely in the overhead compartment. Well, you talk the talk. Here's a loaner. That's good. Hey, Homer knows what an overhead compartment is. That's pretty good. Yeah. And then as Homer's putting on the uniform, a guy comes in. He's like, we need a pilot. Who wants to fly to the Windy City? And then all the pilots like, yeah, sure. I'll go to the Windy City. He's like, conditions are going to be a little bit windy. So obviously, I'm assuming the flight was to Chicago.
Yes. The Windy City is the nickname for Chicago.
And it is very windy. So fun fact for you guys. because of how windy the Windy City is, if you ever go to the top of the Sears Tower, you could actually feel the building wave with the wind because of how it was constructed.
Yeah.
So, fun fact for you guys if you ever go to the Windy City. So the guy, asks Homer, if he's like, he comes up because Homer was still standing.
Yeah.
Homer had no clue what was going on. He's like, you're not impersonating a pilot just so you could drink here. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. He's like, all right, you fly boys crack me up. And he grabs him, shoves him in the cockpit. He's like, but I'm not a pilot. And I tell you fly boys crack me up. And so, Alan, the co-pilot, wanders into the cockpit, and he's like, Homer's like, so, Alan, I'm gonna let you do most of the flying today. And it's like, Alan looks at him like, okay, what the hell just happened? Where am I? It's like, all right, I'll get this started. And he clicks a button. He's like, we're going to need that to live. And then Homer's like, then we flash to the outside of the plane. Homer obviously pressed the landing gear button and the wheels go up and Homer crashes the plane before he even has a chance to take off.
I mean, it's a good thing he crashed it while on the ground.
Well, yeah, I'm glad Homer didn't have the wherewithal to actually get the plane in the sky.
Yeah.
So that's good. And so now we cut to the airline executive's office because obviously they need to do a cover up. Yep. And the airline executive's like, if word gets out about this, Crazy Clown Airlines. Oh my God. I mean, was Spirit Airlines trying to think what's a good name for an airline company? Crazy Clown Airlines. Okay. Spirit, outside of the Spirit plane that burst into flames a couple of weeks ago,
I flew Spirit. Yeah, it was cheap, but the flight was fine. Where we sat was fine. Yes, one of the steward seats broke, and one of my friends had to go to the back of the plane, but he didn't get bumped. He still got to fly. But it was fine.
Aside from all these horrible things happening, it was fine.
It was okay. Look, if I wanted to, if my choice was to fly Spirit or don't go anywhere, I would fly on Spirit.
Okay.
I know that's not a ringing endorsement, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. They're just like any other airline.
No, hey, look, their marketing they did pretty damn well because look, Spirit and Sprint almost sound the same, and they made their planes bright fucking yellow like Sprint. So I have to hand it to their marketing team. Yeah. That was pretty damn clever.
I mean, I probably the best airline I have flown is Alaska Air when I flew out to Seattle. That was a fantastic plane ride.
Well, they had to make their planes good because no one really wants to go to Alaska.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair.
They had to make their airlines very gushy to get people to go to Alaska.
I mean, they had plugs on their airplanes for me to charge my phone.
Yep, like, no, that is awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to that quote that I was in. It's like, yeah, if the word gets out about this, Crazy Clown Airlines will be a laughing stock. In exchange for your silence, I'm prepared to offer your family free tickets to anywhere in the United States, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, the freak states.
It's funny because I have a few friends from Alaska and I have a friend from Hawaii.
Nice, and they're freaks, right?
They're cool.
I mean, Alaska is such a freak state that they'll actually pay you to live there.
Well, the reason they pay you to live there is because of the oil companies.
Yes, and no one wants to live there.
Correct. Except for the crazy people.
Exactly. So back at home, Homer announces the good news. It's like, good news, everybody. I wish he would have got. I wonder if that's where Farnsworth got his good news, everyone.
I'm pretty sure the reason Groening went with good news, everybody, was because he was actually bringing bad news. That was the joke.
Okay. Yeah. But I thought as soon as I heard Homer say that, I'm like, Farnsworth. But yeah, he's like, good news, everybody. because I endangered lives, we can fly anywhere we want. And Lisa's like, Alaska. And Bart is like, Hawaii.
Of course.
Nope.
Nope.
That's where they wanted to go. Yeah. And so Marge is like, I don't think it's a good idea because we're in the busy of cleaning season. Yeah, I mean, my house is all dirty all the time. I mean, it's always cleaning season around here.
Yeah.
And Homer's like, Marge, you deserve a break and the chance to clean up in a whole other state.
That's terrible.
Because, I mean, Marge, well, that's what Marge does. She's a housewife everywhere she goes.
Apparently.
Yep.
That's
But,
not right.
Marge doesn't want to be a wet blanket, and getting on a plane seems like such a hassle.
I mean, depending on where you're flying out of.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're flying out of, it can be a hassle.
Yep, absolutely. And, Homer's like, I want to shake the dust off this one-horse town. I want to explore the world. I want to watch TV in a different time zone. I want to visit strange, exotic malls. I'm sick of eating hoagies. I want a grinder, a sub, a foot-long hero. I want to live, Marge. Won't you let me live? Won't you please?
Why won't you let me live?
I mean,
aren't hoagies, grinders, subs, and footlongs all the same sandwich?
Shh! Don't tell people; they'll get very upset. Yes,
they?
basically,
Okay.
yeah, basically they are.
Okay.
Although, so like, do you have Devani's up there?
No.
Okay, so that must be a Minnesota thing.
Probably.
So Devani's does have hoagies, and they're
Oh.
damn good hoagies. But I don't know if hoagies are heated up sandwiches.
Okay.
They're on like a sub. They're on more like Italian bread that's cut straight across. That's not like a hot dog bun style sandwich. Like it's cut straight across. So maybe the term hoagie means a different way the sandwich is designed. But in essence, they're all kind of the same thing.
All right. Anybody from Pennsylvania or the East Coast? Because I know that
those terms are like a lot out there. Yeah.
Anybody of our East Coast listeners, if you want to drop us a line on our phone line or email us and explain the difference to us, what the difference of all that shit is, please let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great. And so the family makes it finally onto the plane. Yep. But, Marge is worried that that she forgot to clean out the lint trap in the dryer. And if someone broke into the house and started doing laundry, they could start a fire.
Because that's a valid concern.
I mean, if someone broke into my house, I mean, they might wander into my bedroom and see all the laundry all over the floor. And they're like, man, this place really needs some laundry done. I better help out before I rob the blind.
Because that's the first thing a robber is going to do.
Yep. And so now we hear crying, and obviously the big thing with airplanes is no one ever wants to be seated next to the baby. And Bart's like, I specifically asked not to be seated next to a baby. And we pan to the right, and there's Maggie sitting there crying.
Oh, poor Maggie.
But that was, I mean, I don't, every flight I've been on in the last, aside from COVID, handful of years, honestly, I don't think I've ever heard a baby crying.
I can't remember ever hearing a baby cry. Now, the one thing I did hear,
even Elliot didn't cry when we went to LA his first trip when he was like 1 or even younger than 1. He was like baby when we first took him to California. Yeah, no crying, and I mean we didn't drug him like some parents will drug their kids.
Now, I will be honest with you. So when I took my trip out to Seattle, I'm surprised I didn't get beat up on that flight because I fell asleep, which is obviously not a problem. What the problem is I snore when I'm sitting up. I woke myself up by snoring. It was that loud. And yes, there was somebody sitting next to me. They had headphones in.
Oh, that's good. I was going to say, I'm sure they love you.
Oh, God. I'm surprised she didn't hit me, and she would have had every right to.
Yep. And so now we see Abe looking out the window, and he's like, wow, we must be really high up now. Everything looks all blurry.
Abe just has bad eyesight.
Yep. He's still on the ground.
Yeah.
And so now we see the stewardess, get on the mic and says that the flight has been oversold because, all
that's
flights
what
are
airlines
oversold. And I don't know if we talked about this last episode, or maybe the episode before that. I don't. Maybe it was just at work. I was having a conversation. But flights are so overbooked now.
Oh yeah.
Flights are literally giving you $3,000 cash.
Oh yeah.
To give up your seat. And funny thing is, I know it's a gamble, but I almost feel like I could just buy a flight to literally anywhere, go to the airport, wait for them to say, yeah, we'll give you $1,500 to $3,000 to give up your seat, and make what I make in 2 weeks in a day.
Yeah. Well, I know one of my coworkers, I believe it was her son, had to fly somewhere and they overbooked the flight, and they were offering him like, I want to say it was 5 figures. I think she said 10K. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it was somewhere between 5 and 10.
Now, what exactly, like, I get flights are overbooked and they want to give up their tickets, and I just want to know what makes some people to be like, I mean, yeah, the money's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love $10,000 to be like, oh, I'll fly out some other time, or fucking drive there. Who knows? Like, I'll rent the Ferrari and drive there at that point. But I just wonder what really makes people give up their seats. Cause I mean, I have no idea. Cause what if you're in a city that, I mean, $10,000 could get you another hotel and another flight, in the future, but I just wonder what makes some people be like, call work. I'm stuck in Vegas another day. I'm not coming into work tomorrow.
Well, it boggles I understand why airlines overbook in case there's like cancellations or whatever. Yep. But at the same time, why wouldn't you just book it to capacity? And then, okay, if you lose a couple people, then so be it. I honestly, I understand that. Yes, they want to make it so that it makes sense to fly, because that's a lot of fuel.
Could you imagine Funko overselling Pops in the hopes for cancellations?
Nobody's gonna cancel Pops. Well, to be fair, they do overmake Pops.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But that's for like damages and stuff like that. I
suppose. But I get why you want to overbook a flight, but at the same time, it's like, because I remember, I think it was my Seattle trip that they overbooked the flight, and I think I almost had it cancel on me. I mean, really? Luckily it didn't, but it was crazy.
Yeah. So the stewardess is like, yeah, we're going to upgrade the first 2 people to the front will be upgraded to first class. Now that I have never heard on any of my flights personally of anyone being upgraded to first class because of overbooking.
I have sat first class before, if you really want to call it first class, because it was Spirit. But I will say, the only mistake about what we did sitting there first class is just bigger seats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing special because they're plain. There's no curtain or anything. But the problem was we had the very first row of the plane, and there's I guess a wall or partition in front of you. And so there's not as much legroom. So if anybody's flying Spirit and you want to sit first class, get the second row.
Yeah. So I got to fly first class myself when I did a commercial for Best Buy.
Oh, that's right.
They flew me first class both ways out to LA. And I'll have to tell you, that was very awesome. I think the alcohol was free, which was really cool. Awesome seats, legroom. I mean, pretty standard otherwise. I don't think there were really any other necessarily perks for sitting first class. I was disappointed not to see a single celebrity, because I feel like that's the people. Well, obviously, businessmen and celebrities are who sit first class usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get to see a celebrity in first class, which was kind of sad. But
I've never seen a celebrity either.
Yeah. So we get Bart and Lisa up to first class.
I love how Lisa runs through everybody and Bart runs over
on top
everybody.
of everyone. Yeah, because airplanes are that big. You can just jump above people and run. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried running up an airline. Yeah, those seats are narrow. I don't even know how that many people were crammed in the...
It's the body width of one person.
Yeah.
That's and yet Bart and Lisa are able to maneuver?
Yep. But Lisa says, come on, Bart. They're going to pamper us. And Bart's like, oh, not literally, of course.
What did he think she meant by pamper?
I don't know.
Change diapers?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That one could that confused me a little bit why he would gasp like that, but here we are.
Yep.
And so, Bart and Lisa are sitting in first class, and Bart's like, I come for the service, but I stay for the legroom. And I love how, like, his legs aren't even dangling over the seat.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's older, so I feel like his legs probably would. Elliot's legs don't.
No.
Even at 4, didn't dangle over the.
Well, I mean,
seat,
he's 10.
really.
So he was 10. So when I was 10, that would have been what, 4th-ish grade?
Yeah, I mean, you were sitting,
You're like 4 feet tall,
seat.
right? Yeah. 4 feet by 10.
Yeah.
That seemed.
Yeah.
So I feel like Bart's. So you're telling me Bart's feet aren't gonna dangle?
Yeah, but hey, he wanted the leg room.
Yeah, and we also see Lisa roasting a marshmallow in a fireplace that comes out of the front or the back of the seat in front of her.
Yep,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So this next part, I don't know if it was like an animation error or just the color of Homer's jacket, but Homer's jacket was like exactly the same color as Marge's green dress. I don't know if you noticed that. It was really weird.
I know he was wearing the green jacket.
Yeah, but it was exactly the same color as Marge's jacket.
Yeah.
It was really
I think
weird.
he's worn that jacket though before in earlier episodes.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, I believe he has.
Oh.
So now Marge is kind of having a panic attack, and Homer's like, Marge, what's wrong? Are you hungry? Sleepy? Gassy? Gassy? Is it gas? It's gas, isn't it? No, Homer. She didn't tell you something. And Marge confesses to Homer that she's not a good flyer, and she has a complete and utter meltdown. She's like, let me off. 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 Let me off.
And she's running up and down the. And she's running up and down the plane.
So I'll tell you. So a good friend of mine who took the trip with me out to California and Vegas, that flew Spirit with me. He doesn't like flying. I don't think a lot of people like flying per se.
Chris even said that's the reason he hasn't been to LA. That's the reason he hasn't been to San Diego Comic-Con.
Because he doesn't like flying.
He does not like flying.
And so, like, now I had to be the babysitter to my friend, which is fine. And, like, once we were in the air, he was okay. Like, it was, like, the taking off and the landing portion that, like, freaked him out the most. But, like, once we were in the air, he was fine. Once we were on the ground, he was fine. But the takeoff and the landing, he was just like, oh, God, I'm going to have... Like, he had to have a couple drinks while we were in the plane to stay calm.
Hey, drinking on the plane is never a bad thing.
No. So, I mean, I understand where Marge is coming from. Like, I know a few people who just hate flying. I particularly get a little nervous when I fly. I've only flown like a couple of times, even pre-pandemic. My first flight in 2017 was my first flight since sophomore year in high school, which was 2002.
Yeah.
I went 15 years between flying.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's false. No, when we went to Detroit, we flew. I forgot about that. So
I feel like aside from COVID, I'm on a plane almost every year at least one time.
So I've taken three or four flights in the last 20 years. I just don't go anywhere. Okay, so, now we see the plane take off and we pan to the ground where the Simpson family is sitting there with their luggage, which I don't think they'd be sitting on the tarmac with their luggage.
Well, it depends. I guess I don't know how, because weren't they they were on the tarmac, weren't they? When,
yes.
So at that point,
their bags are loaded into the plane.
Yeah, so the bag, no, I'm not saying the bag part. I'm saying where they're standing. I think if someone has an attack or something on a plane, I don't know what bring it back to the gate.
They ground the plane and they bring it back to the gate.
Okay. I mean,
they would not leave them on the tarmac. It's too dangerous.
Unless it was an airport where you load on the tarmac.
I guess it is Springfield, so maybe.
Yeah,
But
I
I
can't
don't
remember
think
if they went through a gateway or if they even I don't think they ever showed them
They never
boarding.
showed that. No.
Yeah.
They just showed them on the plane.
Yeah, but I mean, there are some. I mean, Israel's a good example. When I went to Israel, that they're tarmac boarding. Like they don't have gates. Like it's all you take a bus out to the plane and you board on the tarmac.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be the only reason they'd be standing on the tarmac.
Okay. So then Homer reassures Marge that they don't need to take the trip, and they'll just let the killer bees come to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never.
Where were they going? Yeah.
Exactly. We never found out where they were flying to.
I mean, the Midwest has some pretty good killer bees.
I guess. I don't know. So now we're back at the Simpsons house, and Bart's like, I feel like we forgot something. And we cut back to the plane. Yeah, they forgot Grandpa Simpson, and he does the Home Alone.
They did the reverse Home Alone. Yeah. That was great. Oh, that was fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, that was really cool. And we cut back, and Homer's like, I'm sure it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just let your father on a plane by himself.
They'll have a good trip.
Yeah. So then we, Lisa asks Marge if she's any better. And Homer's like, I'm going to solve the mystery. And Homer correctly guesses Marge has a fear of him. Wow. Great deduction there, Sherlock.
Yep.
And so Bart says that there goes the days where he can at least say his mother is normal. And Marge is like, everybody's got a fear of something. And Homer's like, not everybody. Marge just goes, sock puppets. Where? Ah! So now we know what Homer's afraid of. Sock puppets.
What are you
Why
afraid
is Homer
of?
afraid of sock puppets?
Because they're weird.
No, they're not. They're cute and adorable. If you make them right.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Homer doesn't like things that your feet were and then now they're on your hands.
So do you have any fears?
I would say bigger spiders. Like tarantula-sized spiders are probably what freaks me out the most.
See, I've always said I don't really have like a fear. Like I get nervous around things, but like
Mom.
I don't necessarily. No, I don't fear Mom. I just get annoyed. Now, anyways, when I was a kid, yeah, I was afraid of Mom, but now as an adult, whatever. But like I don't necessarily have like a fear of anything. Like I get nervous around things. Like a good example is I use like when we used to donate plasma, like or like when I got the COVID shots. I can't watch needles going into my body. But like
I never wanted to, like when I donated plasma, I never wanted to put a needle, like watch them do it. Now I don't care.
But like once the needle is in, like especially giving plasma, I'll just look at it and go, that's in my arm. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I got like if there was a tarantula around me, I would probably freeze up. But like I don't think I would like try to run away or freak out because obviously most animals are only gonna attack you if they know you're afraid.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I get nervous. I hate spiders, like bigger spiders. I'm not a fan, but I'm not really afraid of them. So now we see, and now Lisa asks Marge if she's sure she doesn't want to discuss it, and Marge is like, "Oh, I'm as sure as sugar," and then just gets up and walks away. Yeah. And Homer's like, "Lisa, the important thing is for your mother to repress what happened. Push it deep down inside her so she'll never annoy us again." Not a good coping mechanism.
Nope.
But if we don't encourage her to vent her feelings, they can come out in other ways. Exactly. And Marge goes, I just realized we never had a wedding for the cat and the dog. They've been living in sin.
Yeah, I don't think the cat and the dog are banging, man.
God. Oh, that's gross. Oh, yeah, well, Lisa's right. If you repress feelings, bad things are probably bound to happen. So I would advocate for anybody, if you have feelings and you need to talk to somebody, please talk to somebody. Like, don't let that shit linger.
Yeah.
There are plenty of numbers called 988, talk to somebody, anybody. So now we get Marge she's cooked breakfast, Thanksgiving, Christmas, desserts all overnight.
And a big cake.
Yeah. Like I saw breakfast because I saw a stack of pancakes. I saw a turkey. I saw a ham. Other stuff, like, holy shit. That's a lot of baking, especially overnight. Like, that's insane.
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend whose wife used to be like that. Whenever she would talk to her mom, she would get super stressed out, and she would either go on a cleaning mode or baking mode. I liked baking mode.
Yeah.
So Lisa then tells Homer that there were going to be problems. Basically, she told Homer, "I told you so."
Yep.
And Marge is like, no, I'm okay. But obviously she isn't. And Homer assures the kids that Marge is okay. And that now we get to night, and Homer's in bed, he's sleeping, and all of a sudden you hear some banging, and Homer rolls over, Marge isn't in bed. No, she's on the roof reshingling the roof at 3 a.m. I'm pretty sure you're waking up a lot of the neighborhood if you're banging at 3 a.m. That's pretty loud.
Yeah. And I was like, Marge, what are you doing? Fixing the house? It's 3 a.m. You should be banking. I'm like, really? 3 a.m.?
Baking, not banking. Baking.
Are you sure? I don't know. I was gonna. Are you sure? You don't know. I think I heard banking.
I'm pretty sure I heard baking.
See, I was gonna subtitle it because I knew this would happen, and I didn't.
Who banks at 3 a.m?
I don't know. If I forget to pay a bill, I'll do it.
You're asleep at 3 a.m.
Well, depending on if Bob or Elliot wake me up. So the family, wants to talk to Marge, and she's, sitting in it seems like she's sitting on the couch. Yep. And she's like, can't talk, keeping myself in a state of cat-like readiness. And so, Lisa suggests therapy to Marge. It's like, I don't need it. Or no, Homer's like, yeah, she doesn't need it, and it's too expensive. And Homer also doesn't believe in it because it turns everyone against Homer.
Yeah.
And I like how you look at Marge.
Yeah.
And you see that she's like off the couch. She's like, Homer's like, okay. She has the problem.
Yeah.
And Homer also thinks, it costs $10 an hour to get top-notch therapy.
I don't know how much therapy costs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like anywhere between like 50 to like probably like a couple grand depending on the therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not cheap. That's for sure. And so, Marge, I love this. I use this quote quite a bit, actually. Yeah. So Marge calls KBBL to get their psychic hotline.
Yes.
And she's like, okay, I'm getting something. You're going to die a terrible, terrible death. Oh, wait, that was the last caller. Okay, I'm getting something. You're going to die a terrible, terrible death. I love that. I love that so much. Every time anyone ever talks about psychics or getting a reading, I'm like, I use this line all the time. So great. And then I like how the DJ's like, all right, does anyone have any song requests? Homer grabs the phone. It's Raining Men. Because apparently it's been a long time since Homer's heard It's Raining Men.
Well, he hasn't been back to Moe's yet.
I know. And so to help Marge, they decide to go to the VHS.
I love this gag.
Village, formerly,
VHS
Village. Yep. And it's formerly the Beta Barn.
Oh, that's fantastic. For those out there who don't know what Beta is, look it up because it was before VHS.
Well, no. It was the same time as VHS. It was a war between Beta and VHS VHS 1.
And we never had Beta, did we? We only had VHS.
We never did Beta. So our parents guessed right.
Yes.
I guessed wrong between HD DVD and Blu-ray.
Oh, you guessed very wrong on that.
Man, I personally thought every studio besides Sony at the time, every studio besides Sony at the time was going HD DVD. I'm like, okay, if every studio is putting their stuff on HD DVD, why wouldn't they win? And then Disney was like, I think we like Blu-ray. And then everyone was like, fuck Disney. And then they all went to Blu-ray.
Yep. See, that's why I just waited. I don't think I ever bought a DVD for HD TV. I just waited. I just bought everything regularly. And then they're like, oh, Blu-ray wins. I'm like, okay, well, now if I get a Blu-ray player.
Yep. And then Homer's, well, here, fun fact. So Microsoft and their Xboxes put HD DVD players in them. Sony, PlayStation put Blu-rays in it because it was a Sony-made product.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck, Microsoft put it in. They're going to win. I was a PlayStation fan. I was never an Xbox fan. And that kind of made me upset. I'm like, I don't really want an Xbox.
Yeah.
But, I mean, God, it's so hard to think that all those Xbox gamers that got HD DVD players were completely screwed. And then they released like combo. Microsoft eventually released a combo player to make the Microsoft people happy and the Blu-ray people happy.
Yeah. So
fun facts about gaming systems.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Homer told Marge that he read Dear Abby, and she says watching movies about airplanes will help get over her fears.
Which, honestly is good advice, because if you're trying to get over your fear, now granted, what Homer did is not the right way to do it, but like you start with small steps. Wasn't it? God, there was a show, I can't remember if it was that 70s show, or I think it was that 70s show where Eric was afraid of a baseball. And so they showed him a picture of the baseball, and then they showed him the baseball, and then they let him touch the baseball. I think that's what it was. Yeah, and that's what you do with fears. If you want to get over a fear, start really, really small and work your way up.
That's a good way to do it. And so Homer selects some movies from Marge: Hero, Fearless, and Alive. And they all have, planes on their covers, and all the movies are about planes crashing.
Yeah.
Had Homer selected just the movie Airplane, Marge might be okay with flying.
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been a great fourth pick.
That would have been
3 movies about airplanes crashing.
Yeah.
And then that one. That would have
good.
I think that was a missed opportunity. I think that
was definitely a missed opportunity.
I think that would have fit in very well.
Yeah.
So we see Marge at home watching Alive.
and now we're all alive.
Paste me another leg of the co-pilot. That's great. That was great.
Yeah.
And the Springfield. So now they go to the Springfield Psychiatric Center because obviously the videos weren't helping. And their tagline: because there may not be bugs on you. And I was thinking to myself, that was a big thing we did at Boy Scout camp, wasn't it? There may not be bugs on you guys. What was that whole thing? I don't even remember that bit.
What are you talking about?
You never did that at school where like the tables used to shout at all the other tables about something not being on you guys, but there may be bugs on us? You don't remember that?
What?
You don't remember that?
What?
That's weird. I don't know. I didn't.
What are you? You understand? They're talking about schizophrenia, right?
No, I know, but this was a whole thing at camp. I'm telling you. I'll find it. I'll find it and let you know.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't. No.
No, I'm telling you, there absolutely was. I don't know why we ever did it, but we shouted at all of the tables and stuff.
I remember shouting at each other, but nothing about bugs. I don't remember what we shouted at other table, but it didn't have anything to do with bugs.
I honestly, I don't know. Okay, let's continue.
Let's continue.
So Homer tells Lisa in the waiting room that the therapist is going to essentially break up the family because and then she'll have to go pick beans with Grandma. And Lisa's like, I like picking beans with Grandma. Okay, then you will. Good for you. Fine, I will. But I was kind of wondering, I'm like, which grandma are they talking about? Homer's mom is in the wind, and we haven't even heard of her yet.
No.
And Marge's mom is in an old folks' home.
I mean, I think you can have like a bean plant. I think you could just have like a plant in a pot for beans.
But Homer made it seem like a grandma lives on a farm somewhere and she's going to have to go to the farm and pick beans with Grandma.
Maybe they take the old folks to a farm to pick beans and Lisa goes with?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is they were alluding to Homer's mom.
Maybe?
That's the only thing I could think of, because Marge's mom's in an old folks home. I don't think it would be them.
Yeah, but we don't know where Homer's mom is.
Which is why I'm thinking that quote was more leading towards Homer's mom, because she hasn't been introduced yet.
So
you know
why
what I
would he
mean?
say that, though? He thinks she's dead.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Maybe, again, I'm going to go with Marge's mom and the old folks go to a bean farm to pick beans as an activity, and Lisa goes with.
Yeah, but Homer's saying that the family would be broken up and that Lisa would have to go live with Grandma picking beans.
No. He just said you'd have to go pick beans with Grandma. He never said anything about living with her.
I don't know. It seems weird.
It was a weird line.
Okay, so we see Principal Skinner at the psychiatric's office, and Bart goes over to him. Yeah, I knew I'd break you. And then I like how he holds up a magazine in front of his face, Principal's World, and it's Principal Skinner this month, I guess, on the cover. Yeah. or Principal Skinner was on the cover of Principal's World, and that's the only copy he reads. Because he doesn't care about any other principal but himself.
Well, I'm assuming it's not his. I'm assuming it's the doctor's office.
Maybe. I don't know. Principal Skinner wanted to bring something to read at the doctor's office, but maybe not. I don't know. Why would a doctor's office subscribe to Principal's World?
Dude, what did they? I mean, aren't dentists and doctor subscribe to weird magazines, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was usually ESPN and Sports Illustrated and Homes and Gardens and...
Yeah, Homes and Gardens. That's weird.
I don't know. There's a lot of women that, go to the doctor's office. Anyway, Bart believes that he's there because it's him. Yeah. And Skinner's like, I'm just here because of my mother.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's about time he's gotten help for his mother. Yeah. I feel like that'd be more of a group counseling thing, though. I feel like Skinner's mom should be there if they're going to be doing that.
No, you can get therapy without your mother.
No, but the problem is with the mother, so you would think that they'd want to come to the root of their cohabiting issues together.
It's never said that Skinner has an issue with his mom. He just has emotional issues he needs to work out with his mom not there.
Maybe. All right. So
plus he was also in the army, so there's probably a little PTSD as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so now they get called into Dr. Zweig's office.
Well, before that, Homer, tells Bart to leave Skinner alone.
Yeah.
and Homer starts making faces at Skinner.
Yep.
That's so random.
Oh, Homer. And so, so now they're in Dr. Zweig's office, and they're meeting with the doctor, who is voiced by Anne Bancroft, who is the wife of Mel Brooks. I didn't know that. I knew he was married. I didn't know he was married too.
Yep, was his wife. She passed away.
Yep, and Mel Brooks is
96.
Pretty old too. Yeah. And so I love Homer. He's like, Homer's like, all right, how much do you charge? Well, if money's a problem, we charge on a sliding scale. I can go as low as $30 an hour. Keep sliding.
$30 an hour, honestly, isn't that bad. No. Well, nowadays, anyways.
Yeah, and so, Marge apologizes to Homer, and then,
No, she apologizes
for Homer.
Yeah.
And tells the doctor that, he just thinks he'll blame everything on her. And then I like how she writes on the notepad, husband. And Homer's also like, well, tell me your qualifications. And then he's like, and then you should see the giant wall of all the doctorates that she has. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to, we're not here for a reading lesson, lady.
Oh, yeah.
Homer
is afraid. Well, Homer's just afraid he'll lose Marge, but that's not why Marge is there.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of the visit.
And Homer should understand that he didn't cause her to be afraid of flying.
Exactly, yep.
So now we get Marge meeting Dr. Zweig, and Homer tries to spy on them by pretending to be the window washer. And Marge's like, what is that? Oh, it's just the window washer. He always comes in every day at noon. And Marge's like, it's a couple seconds before noon. And then it hits noon and the real window washer, like, I don't know what he did, but he like slides down and just hits Homer, and Homer like basically falls to the ground.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was weird. And so now we cut to Marge leaving her session, and Homer tells Marge ever since she started to see a therapist, she only wants to talk about herself. And Homer's like, he wants to know about him. And Marge is like, that was literally my first session. She's like, I haven't even talked.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Homer. It's not how therapy works. And so now we cut to another session, and the therapist asks Marge what the first bad day was. And I think she meant flying, but then we get a flashback of Marge telling her about her first day of school, and Selma and Patty try to scare her by wrongly telling her what a fire drill is. It's a drill they stick in you with fire.
Yep. Yeah. That's what a fire drill is. You didn't know that?
No.
Your principal when you were at school didn't explain that to you? We're going to do a fire drill today. We're going to come around to all our classrooms and drill flaming drills through your head.
Oh God. And then we see Marge sitting on the school bus next to another girl that tells her that the Monkees don't write their own songs because Marge has a Monkees lunchbox, and they don't play their own instruments, which that's actually like the joke is because they used to do a show, and by the second season they wrote and played everything.
Oh, okay.
Like they did all that, but there was a story going around where they didn't, but that's not true.
Well,
they were trained.
Yeah, they were trained Monkees.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if he's still touring or not, but a few Wizard Worlds that we volunteered at, one of the guys from the Monkees was actually one of the autographing guests there, and one of them they had 2 of the 4 there.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And so now we get to the family watching TV, and Homer's like, "Did you talk about me in therapy today?" "I don't think so." And then Homer starts yelling, "Tell me the truth." "Oh, don't tell her I raised my voice. Don't. Happy family, as he pats the kids' heads.
It's good.
Oh my God. Oh, Homer. So now we get Marge in another session telling the doctor about a reoccurring dream that she has, and it's her in Lost in Space, where she is Mrs. Robinson, Homer is Dr. Smith, and Lisa's the robot, and they do this whole scene, and they leave her in the dream, and Homer speaks in like a hoity-toity voice. I've never seen Lost in Space, so I don't know if that's how Dr. Smith talks.
Yeah, yep, that was pretty much it.
Okay, and so I love how like Lisa as the robot, "Danger, danger, my arms are flailing wildly."
That's great. I love
and the
that.
therapist points out to Marge that and then at the end of the dream, she's like, as the spaceship is going off, little Marge in the dream is like, "Daddy, don't leave me, Daddy." And the therapist points out to Marge that she said this, and she also pointed out that she probably infringed on many copyrights.
Yeah.
Oh God. And so and she's like, "Now let's talk about your father." "Sure, okay, I'll talk about Father Christmas. That's what they call Santa Claus in England. They drive on the wrong side of the road there. Now that's crazy. People are always saying how small England is, but you couldn't fit it all in here. Not by a long shot. You know what? I'm cured."
Yeah.
And then she gets up, and the doctor's like, "Marge, get back here. Tell me about your father. What did he do for a living?" And so Marge tells the doctor that her dad was a pilot.
Yep, that's what she thought. Yeah.
That's what she thought. And so, and the therapist is like, "By the way, your last check bounce." And so Marge starts to go into another
She's like,
memory.
"Oh crap, our check bounce. I better get this off my chest now before she just stops the whole session."
Yeah. And so in the next flashback, we see Marge saying goodbye to her father, and her father gets onto a plane, and little Marge wants to see her daddy fly, and her mom's like, "No, come back here." But like Marge gets onto the plane, and you know, she's yelling for her dad, and we see a man turn around who happens to be her father as a steward, not a pilot. And Marge finally confesses, my father was a stewardess. And so, that's the root of her issues. And the therapist reassures Marge there's no shame in her father being a steward, which there's not. People gotta serve other people drinks and meals on planes.
Yep.
And the doctor said she should even think of him as a pioneer because there are now many male stewards. So, I guess way back in the day, it used to only be women, right?
Yeah, I mean, you watch shows like Mad Men and where was
Pan
the other
Am,
one?
right?
Pan Am. Yeah, I mean, stewardesses were pretty much, I would say, 95% all women.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just their role back then. Women are live to serve, and but now there's a lot of male stewards on flights, so I mean anyone could do it. Plus, dude, as a guy, if I couldn't become a pilot and I still wanted to fly all over the world, sure, I'll serve a few drinks here and there.
Yeah, it's really not as glamorous as you think it is.
No,
I've read so many stories. It's just not like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think these people really like their job, but to think you're gonna do a lot of traveling and everything, that's not the reality.
Oh, that's stupid.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Okay, I wasn't planning on becoming a flight attendant anyway.
No.
But
so now we get some more flash.
Yep. But
yeah, we get more flashbacks.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is before you get to the flashbacks, you're learning your father's a steward. I wouldn't say how would that make you afraid of flying? Like not getting on a plane?
Well, let me get to the flashbacks.
No, but that's what I'm saying. These flashbacks make it seem like it's more like this is why you'd be afraid of flying.
I don't know. Maybe it was true. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was traumatic to see male flight attendants back in the day. I don't know. Let me get to the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And so now we get more flashbacks, and Marge, we see her as a baby. And I'm assuming it was her grandmother was trying to feed her and doing the, here comes the airplane, open wide. But her grandmother kept hitting her in the forehead with the spoon. She kept missing Marge's mouth.
Yeah, hitting her everywhere, yeah.
Yep. And then we get Marge is now a kid, and she's in a toy airplane, walking around, and the toy airplane bursts into flames.
Yeah, see, that would make you more fearful of flying if your airplane on the ground exploded.
Yeah, and then finally, we get a flashback where Marge and her mother are standing in a cornfield, and a biplane starts shooting at them, and that is a parody of Alfred Hitchcock's film North by Northwest.
I like how Marge's mom's like, and this is what a cornfield looks like.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And so, after describing all that, and I think Marge is like, yeah, I think thank you for telling me that. I'm cured now. And Marge is like, oh, well, thank you, doctor. You changed my life. And doctor's like, Marge, we still really just begun to scratch the surface. There's still the far more serious problem of your husband. And Homer rushes into the room to get Marge out of there. And Homer's like, that's okay. You don't have to make her do some kind of superwoman. And drags her out of the room. And then before she leaves, Marge's like, thank you, doctor. Every time I hear the wind blow, I'll think the words Lowenstein. Lowenstein.
My last name is Swag.
Lowenstein. Really, Marge? You couldn't even remember the name of your therapist, huh?
I think that's supposed to be a parody of something, but I don't know.
Oh, is
what.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
And so the Simpson family, finally get on the airplane to take their trip, which still we have no idea where they're going.
Yep.
I'm surprised the airline even gave them a second shot. Hey, they're like, you had your shot, man.
Yeah.
But maybe the airline give him a second shot. Who knows?
Yeah.
And Homer, is trying to help Marge through the thing. He's like that's the what did he say? The engine's starting, and now we're taxiing down the runway, and then you hear a splash like that's just water pooling around your ankle, or that's just a carp swimming around your ankle, and then you hear Marge's.
Oh Oh god. Yeah, so we forgot to kind of mention this on the first flight, but yes. Marge flew to Washington D.C. for Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington. Somebody on the internet tried to say, "Oh, this episode or Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington happened after this episode."
No, bullshit. Mr.
Yeah.
Lisa Goes to Washington was in season 2.
Yeah. Somebody was like, "Oh, Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington was like set way after this." No, they just screwed up their continuity.
They completely. Now, look, they were driving literally everywhere. They drove to Itchy and Scratchy Land. They drove to
Here's the thing:
City.
they did fly on a helicopter to get to Itchy and Scratchy Land.
That's different than a plane, Robert.
You could fear of flying is fear of flying.
You're right. She did fly on during Itchy and Scratchy Land, so it's twice now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Simpsons writers. Know your own thing. Come on.
I have a feeling, I kind of have the sneaking suspicion that the people who wrote this episode were not privy to those other episodes.
Yeah, so looking at our notes here, the writer was David Sachs, which I have not seen him credited as a writer on any other Simpson episodes.
Okay.
And then directed by Mark Kirkland, which I think he's directed a few episodes and has been in the writing room a couple times. So, I don't know. Maybe you're right. They were like, hey, this sounds like a great episode. And just completely forgot about season 2.
Yeah. Well, there's also the theory after the April Fool's Day episode where Homer was in a coma is that he never came out of a coma.
So all this is just random dreams or happening in his brain.
Exactly.
So yeah, could be. All right. We'll keep that theory out in the forefront.
I enjoy this episode. I love when it comes on, but it's not. To me, this isn't a top tier episode like our next week's episode, because that episode's fantastic. But it's really good. It's very, it definitely doesn't lose its steam over time. It's still relevant to today. I think if you watch this episode today, it still holds up.
Yep. And
so that's a nice factor. If it comes on, I'll watch it. There's not a whole lot of quotes. I don't know. It was a good episode. I'll give it a 4 sprinkles. Had some good jokes. Had some laughs. It was an A through storyline. No other random shenanigans happening.
Yeah,
it was a good episode.
No, I'm with you. I don't think it hits that 5 mark for me. Fantastic. Otherwise, fantastic episode. Yeah. I'm glad that the beginning of the episode blended in very well with the back half of the episode. Yeah. Didn't take too long to get started. Some people do have a fear of flying, and that was a really good way to, introduce it into the world. And the therapy stuff, little bit meh, but
yeah, I feel like they rushed the therapy stuff.
They did. They kind of rushed it through. Now we all know, obviously, from Homer walking through Springfield, that Frasier exists in the. Yeah. They could have had a call in. They could have got Kelsey Grammer involved. That would have been great. Instead of Homer or Marge calling the psychic hotline, calling into Frasier would have been awesome.
That would have been a good pull.
That would have been a great pull because they had already established Frasier was in the Simpsons world.
Yeah.
Just because of that would have been great. I would have loved that. But overall, I like the episode. The psychic hotline, you'll die a terrible, terrible death. I like that line. That is a fantastic line. And the reverse Home Alone. The grandpa reverse Home Alone.
Yeah. I also did enjoy Guy Incognito.
Yes, Guy Incognito was fantastic.
Yep.
So let's finish it off with our character profile. This week we got Dr. Zweg, or Weg. I don't know if the Z is silent or not.
No, it's Zweg.
Zweg.
Yeah.
And once again, voiced by Anne Bancroft. Her occupation, soothing Springfield psychiatrist. Yeah, she has a
psychoanalyst.
Psychiatrist?
No.
Oh, in the book.
Psychoanalyst.
Sure. Well, she is a psychiatrist. She exposes the roots of people's fears. So that must be one of her diplomas on the wall. Like, she specializes in fears. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Proud of her wall full of qualifications.
I mean,
We're not here for a reading lesson. Her quirks: believes the Monkees were about rebellion, as well as social and political upheaval. Knows Murray the window washer's work schedule. Well, hey, she comes out her window every day, yeah. But yeah, she I love how Marge smiled after she said that too. Yeah. About the Monkees. Marge's like, I love this doctor. This is great. Yeah. Her school of thought: the husband is to blame. And her pet peeve: when her patient's check bounces. and continues to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, therapy isn't free, lady.
No, it is not.
All right, guys. So you can find us on Instagram, The Simpsons Did It Pod. You can find our podcast, obviously, on the podcast source you're listening to right now. But if you want to change the pace, you can listen to us on YouTube. Just search The Simpsons Did It Podcast, and you'll find all of our backlog episodes on there. Feel free to send us an email, thesimpsonsdiditpod@gmail.com. Or if email isn't your speed and you have your cell phone on you, feel free to give us a call at 612-584-0986. Listen to our voicemail message and leave us a very thoughtful voicemail. You can donate to our podcast, The Simpsons Did It. buymeacoffee.com/The Simpsons Did It. And you can donate us $1 or $2. And all your proceeds will go towards giving you stickers and hopefully some other things in the future. So thank you all for all your donations. All right. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
And I'm Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.